Hello everybody. So today is not a video like usual. Today is a live reaction video. There's nothing new in this video except my joy, my happiness. Bitcoin is $100,000. And of course that happened when I was out at dinner. I was at a restaurant. I had to cut it short. I had to come back and I had to celebrate. I'm running out of live streams that I can watch. I'm trying to watch all of them. I am so excited. This is something that I've been waiting for a very long time, namely 2017. I remember vividly in 2017 when Bitcoin hit $10,000. When it did that, every news channel, newspaper, colleague, friend, people on social media were talking about it, weighing in. And I am doing my part again today, telling you, my 13,000 subscribers, in case you don't know, that Bitcoin reached 100K. You may remember Bitcoin 100K in the 2021 days of the former Bitcoin cycle. That was the Anthony Pompliano. That was his thing. And of course, we had a few bad actors that kind of spoiled the asset for a little bit, but Bitcoin at its core, in my view, no financial advice, but at its core, and with the amount of time that I've spent studying it, in my view, NFA, that is a very solid asset. Bitcoin is a triumph of ethical money. Bitcoin is the triumph of intelligence over corruption, over debasement, over history and the story of money, over history and the invention of banking, of double entry accounting and creating money out of thin air. Bitcoin is the end of this. Again, not financial advice. You know, at this point, none of my videos are financial advice. They're not, but I believe this day, today, tonight is so special. It is as special as 2017 when it hit $10,000 a Bitcoin. And the next time we see a moment as special, in my view, will probably be two halving from now. Maybe sometimes in 2032, the more optimistic say before, the more pessimistic say later. Remember, it depends on things we also don't control, like money printing and how haywire they go with the money printing. But to me, at this point, Bitcoin has always been a story of it either goes to zero or it takes over everything. And with Bitcoin reaching 100K, it's getting closer and closer to the second form of that scenario where it really becomes pervasive. And we now see very serious people like the head of the Fed saying that he compares Bitcoin to gold. Now, of course, remember that there's a lot of things happening at the Fed. Remember, they're not thinking about raising rates, and then there's a 180 that happens months later. So maybe 10 days from now, he starts saying, oh, it's a currency at the end of the day. We can't trust that. The point is, people are now openly comparing Bitcoin to gold, and if Bitcoin becomes like gold, let's say in a 10-year period, Bitcoin is going to be like gold. Well, gold is likely going to be a $20 trillion asset. Bitcoin could be an asset, at least 10 trillion, could be higher than that. It's amazing. No financial advice. I am so happy today. As you know, I've said multiple times on my channel, I've told you, I've been in Bitcoin since 2015. And like a lot of people in the early days of Bitcoin, I sold it all because, when you operate in a world where 99.9% of the people tell you you're wrong, which for me, 2015, 99% of the people that I met told me I was wrong, because thinking for yourself was not as pervasive as today. The idea of thinking for yourself, the idea that has been widespread by Elon Musk, by the way, we have him to thank for that. That idea in 2015, at least at the age that was at the time, was not as prominent. And so when 99.9% of people tell you, oh, you're wrong, I sold all of my Bitcoin at 250 a Bitcoin. I bought back years later when it was in the thousands, and I will never get my initial bag back. I think this is a story that a lot of people tell you in Bitcoin, in stocks too, but I can tell you that if you sold Bitcoin the last cycle, and you get in at a higher level, it's a lesson that you will know for life. And this is an asset to me, at least the one that I have in the Brain wallet. And of course, a lot of us who have been covering this since before the days of the ETF, right? I've been covering this. I could have gone back into the channel, but some of my first videos on this channel were about Bitcoin when I started mine 2 years ago. We have it in a Brain wallet. We view it as free speech. It's money that we can decide, and we can decide to make that money die if we want. If we die with a Brain wallet and die with the code. Today is the triumph of ethical money. Money that cannot be debased. What do you understand by debased? We mean money that cannot be created out of thin air. To quote Jay Powell, we print it digitally. As if it makes it any better than a money printer. Yeah, it's not a money printer. We print it digitally, but of course the Fed is the lesser offender compared to the commercial banking system. It is the commercial banking system who creates the bulk of the money. And that money, when the money gets repaid, of course it gets deleted minus the interest, but the problem is the pie of money. The pie of money never shrinks. It never shrinks because companies, countries, states, families, households, people, when you do a credit card refinancing, when you get a second loan on your mortgage, when you do a HELOC on the mortgage, or when a company rolls over the debt, all you do is you create more debt to pay the old debt. And so we live in a world where fiat, where the dollar, we just pile it on and pile it on and pile it on the debt. And when there's a crisis, we print more debt to deal with the problem. That was the events of 2020. Think about the 3 years of pain that we've had since the end of 2021. The 3 years of pain have made no dent in the money supply. The money that was created during the events of 2020 has not been deleted whatsoever. This is why Bitcoin is so crucial. It's money that is fixed at 21 million coins. You can't have any more. It's in the code, and therefore it can't be debased. And the distribution, right, the last 1 million-ish coins that are left to be distributed, it will be until 2140. And the only way to get access to those coins is by working, i.e. mining, insanely hard. It is extremely hard to mine a Bitcoin. It takes your average miner something like $50,000 worth of electricity, paying 3.5 cents a kilowatt hour just to mine a Bitcoin, which means that at your household prices of electricity, if you pay 12 cents, 20 cents, it may cost you $120,000 or $200,000 worth of electricity from the grid just to create one. That's the proof of work. Proof of work is essential to make Bitcoin valuable. It's extremely hard to create. It can't be created out of thin air because of privilege or because of your position in the financial system, because of a Cantillon effect, right? It's not about your proximity to the money printer. Quotes such as, oh, we only lend to the rich. Well, under the Bitcoin standard, these quotes become way, way, way less true. Bitcoin is also money that is permissionless. Think about the dollar, which is really the best currency we have today. Look at what's happening in Europe with MiCA. They are doing everything to try to ban stablecoins because they don't want Europeans to bank in dollars, right? Many countries are doing the same thing. They're trying to get their own people to bank in their own currency. Well, Bitcoin doesn't do it like that. Bitcoin is permissionless. Anybody is welcome when it comes to Bitcoin. Anybody can create a wallet. You go on bitcoin.org, you click on create a paper wallet, you move your mouse, boom, you got a wallet. That's ethical money. This is the triumph of ethical money. This is something that humanity has been looking for the longest time, and Bitcoin is especially the rise of intelligence. And that's why I say raising a glass to intelligence, raising a glass to thinking for yourself, raising a glass to actually not thinking about how we've been taught to think. You know, a lot of education, a lot of universities, a lot of the things, the news cycle, a lot of these things out there, they are there to teach us how to think and not thinking for yourself. And so the state tells you, well, this is the money, that money is worth X, Y, Z, and thus you must use the money, right? And we use the money of the state, not a problem at all, for daily purposes, but we don't have to save in that money, you know? When for example, I've told many times throughout my videos that I don't touch real estate anymore. I don't want to own real estate anymore. I'm done with real estate ever since the events of 2020. And because of what I've seen with money supply and the direction of real estate, that's an example of thinking for yourself. Because right now, to this day, if you go on YouTube, still to this day, everybody tells you, oh, you got to invest in real estate. Oh, this or that. So I cannot emphasize this enough. Bitcoin is about choosing freely. People choose freely where they want to store their money. And if they want to store their money in something that is very hard to create, well, we used to have real estate in a way, but real estate is getting taxed away, is getting maintenanced away, and is getting insuranced away with the cost of insurance. We have stocks. I believe stocks are still a wonderful way to put money away for the future. Stocks, in my view, they've always been riskier than Bitcoin. I know that sounds crazy to say, but bear with me. No financial advice. Stocks, in my view, are more risky than Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is this other option. We've had gold for the longest time. Gold is very hard to create, but we find more gold all the time. We cannot find more Bitcoin. Bitcoin is fixed in the money supply. There is a limited amount of money supply. Look at all of the buzz that mine in China, of that deposit of gold in China is making in the gold world. You know, there's going to be more discoveries of gold. There's going to be more discoveries of commodities like oil and gas. We're going to discover more of that. The one thing that we're not going to discover more of is Bitcoin. And how do we know that? Because it's in the code. And we know in the code that there's a limit to how many Bitcoin there is. And we're not going to discover more of it. That's why when we spend our energy over time, energy times time, which is our labor, when we place energy across time in the form of our biological labor, we have to decide where we put that money. Do we put it in something that can just be printed away, which is the dollar? And do we save it in dollars, in something that can just be printed away? That's not what I want to do. I want to short this. I want to borrow this. This is what I want to do. I want to borrow this. That's what MicroStrategy is doing. Do we store it in real estate? Well, maybe we need real estate. If we need real estate, sure, we can store a little bit in real estate. Do we store it in gold? Gold and Bitcoiners should agree. Gold and Bitcoiners should agree. Gold is like 80, you're 80% there. People who like gold are 80% there to liking Bitcoin. It's just the technology aspects that makes people who like gold sometimes be wary about Bitcoin. So gold is better in many ways, but in my view, there's only two buckets left. You have stocks, investing, buying stock that is a derivative of fiat, i.e. your revenue growth has to beat how many more fiat are issued each year. Your revenue growth has to grow faster than that. That's why I insist whenever I buy a stock, I want the revenue growth to grow more than 15% in order for me to beat the money expansion. And so that's a stock and that's a business endeavor. And then the rest, of course, is if you don't want to take a business risk, just take your time times energy, i.e. your labor. And what I do, no financial advice, but what I do is I put it in Bitcoin. Recently, I've been putting it in MicroStrategy. You know, I have a full position in MicroStrategy on this channel. And anyways, it's like I said, it's a celebration video. I'm sure most people who watch this are already convinced of Bitcoin. So I don't need to say more, no financial advice. I'll finish with this. Today is a triumph of Austrian economics over mainstream economics. Bitcoin has been the dream of many Austrian economists. You know, Austrian economists believe that the money should be fixed. The money supply should be fixed. As a society, we get better at making stuff technology advances, we get better at making stuff. In theory, the price of stuff should go down because we get better at making it. But the price of stuff keeps going up. Why does it keep going up? Because we print the dollar even faster than our ability to create more stuff. Our ability to create more stuff and to be innovative and to evolve as a species, this ability is only exceeded by the money stock and the money supply and the ability of a commercial banking system and of the government to spend ever more. That's the only reason. If we have a fixed money supply, all of a sudden the rules of Austrian economics start applying. And what does that mean? That means that the price of goods and services over time starts dropping, continue dropping, and everything starts to look like a flat screen TV. Flat screen TVs are ever better, bigger, cheaper, because we get better at making them. That's the beauty of Austrian economics. And I believe the fact that Bitcoin just reached 100K is a triumph of this. So anyways, of course, I'm going out on a limb and telling you there's thousands of channels who are just dedicated to Bitcoin. My video is probably going to get the least amount of view about that. Today is a celebration for me. I am thrilled. I am so excited to see Bitcoin being at 100K. And we are going to have a marketing event right now like we haven't seen in a matter of 7 years. We haven't seen this much marketing in 7 years. Get ready for tomorrow. Get ready for all of the news articles, all of the websites, all of the friends, family, colleagues telling you about Bitcoin being 100K. Today is a wonderful day for a good third of my portfolio, which is Bitcoin, Bitcoin derivatives, MicroStrategy, and miners. I am so excited. This was not financial advice, not investment advice, just entertainment, hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe. Follow me on Patreon. Follow me on X. Thanks for watching. Happy celebration. Have a wonderful day.